a man who was relevant last year for BYU football. Christian Stewart, quarterback, joining us on the Deseret First Credit Union Hotline. Christian, welcome back to BYU Sports Nation.
Thanks for having me on. I guess I'm irrelevant now, but
no.
I appreciate you having me on.
You're irrelevant. That's the truth. I'm just kidding, man. Hey, let's ask you the Twitter question first. What will the result of the Michigan game mean for the rest of the BYU season?
Oh, that's a tough question. I feel like kind of what you said just barely, it sets the stage for us. If we can stay ranked, stay relevant in the national picture, I mean, that'll be huge. And a win at Michigan is essential for that. But I don't think that even if we lose and walk away 2-2 out of these first tough 4 games, we can still finish the season with a pretty high ranking, I feel like, and maybe a potential possibility to go to a BCS game, just like Boise State did last year. They were a two-loss team who went to a BCS game and really dominated in that game.
When you look at what's happened so far, Christian, a lot of the pieces from last year, but this team has emerged with some miraculous plays and playmakers. What has been your reaction to what BYU's done through the first 3 games?
Oh, man, I feel like it's been some sloppy football at times and a lot of luck on our end, 2 specific plays. Well, more than that, but hey, that's what you need sometimes to get you through those tough games. You got to get those lucky breaks. I feel like last year we were kind of on the other side of those lucky breaks where the teams we were playing got them. But this year, hey, it's been falling in our favor. Last week, we were one, 2 plays away from winning against a really good UCLA team. But ultimately, I think BYU fans have a lot to be excited about, and especially the team, they have to have a lot of confidence. Being ranked like 22nd in the country, going into Michigan, I feel like we have a lot going for us right now.
Christian Stewart joining us now on BYU Sports Nation, former BYU quarterback, now hanging out in the Bay Area. He will be at the Michigan game watching in Ann Arbor this weekend. When you look back at what BYU did against UCLA, Christian, what did you learn about this team in that 3rd game against UCLA? Because of, the 2 Mangum miracles, people weren't sure, like, well, is this team for real? What did you learn about BYU against UCLA?
Okay, yeah, I learned a couple things. First thing, our offense is going to be really good. Tanner is going to be I feel like Tanner's going to be a great NFL football player. I mean, the kid is a stud. He's a playmaker, but he's also a really smart quarterback, and you could see him starting to get in the rhythm. Coach and I is learning how to call plays geared towards Tanner's strengths. And then also, we have a defense. Our defense looked phenomenal in the first 3 quarters or so, and yeah, they got gassed in the 4th quarter because we run a hurry-up offense and we don't have subs. We don't have a lot of depth at the defense, really any position in the defense. And so guys ran out of gas, which kind of happened last year, and it's the nature of running a hurry-up offense with not a lot of depth.
In 2012, I believe you were teammates with Tanner Mangum, right?
Yes, I was.
Okay, what did you see from him pre-mission, LDS mission, and then what have you seen from him post-mission, as I know you were at practice a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, so I have one story to share about Tanner pre-mission. We were in the spring game, and I don't remember what the play was. I don't remember what he did. It was something really, really good, something that Coach Beck didn't understand why he did. And we were watching film on the game, kind of breaking it down, and Coach Beck's like, "Okay, Tanner, like, this was a really good play, but, like, why did you throw it here? This wasn't even in your read." And Tanner just goes, "KYP, Coach." And Coach Beck just kind of looked at him, "KYP, what's that?" He said, "Know your personnel." And in my mind, I'm thinking most freshmen are having a hard time getting up to the line, not peeing their pants when they're trying to call a play. But Tanner's up there looking at who the defenders are, looking at who his receiver is, and says, "Hey, I've got a mismatch out here." Makes a great play that wasn't in his read. And it was kind of at that time that I knew, wow, Tanner's going to be a special player. He understands football. He's not just a robot out there going through what he's been taught in the room. He goes out there and he gets football, and he can see things that, maybe an untrained quarterback couldn't do.
Christian, on Inside BYU Football, there was a cameo from you talking to Tanner before the BYU Boise State game. I'm gathering that you had an interesting conversation with him because of the similar scenarios that you've had coming in backup roles. What was that conversation like with Tanner that you had recently?
Yeah, so that conversation happened before the Nebraska game.
Oh, okay,
so
before Nebraska.
It was before he was starting, and I was asking him how camp was going. I'd heard he was doing well, and he had just explained a little bit of, not frustration, but he was getting not as many reps as he would have hoped throughout camp, which is the nature of a quarterback. You have to split reps with kind of everybody during camp, and then once game prep starts, those reps go up for a backup quarterback. Like, for example, Taysom would get probably about 60, 65% of the reps, and then Tanner would get the remaining reps during practice. And so he told me, yeah, my reps have gone up since we started game prep, and I feel like I'm starting to get in a rhythm, starting to understand the offense better. And I told him, look, you've got to cherish those reps because that's all you're going to get for now. But you have to, it has to get you ready. It has to be enough to get you to where you can step in and take over the reins if you need to.
Christian, what's the difference in the playbook right now between what Robert and I is calling for Taysom Hill and what he might be calling for Tanner Mangum?
Well, it's pretty obvious. There's no real run option plays. I don't think I've seen Tanner really keep any. Maybe he's kept a few, but Taysom obviously loves to run that right option where he has the option to, pull it, take it. Tanner hasn't really done that, which fits his strengths, just like kind of fit my strengths. I've seen the offense switch to a lot of quick passing game, which I feel like is really good for Tanner because as a young quarterback, defense are going to be bringing a lot of heat. And Tanner needs to just get rid of the ball, get into a rhythm. And it really made our offense click last week when they were calling those quick passes. And then, when they would hand it off to Adam Hine, it opened up a lot of lanes. And we were clicking on all cylinders last week.
Follow him on Twitter at cstew337. Christian Stewart had 25 touchdown passes last year, started 8 games for BYU, helped them get to the Miami Beach Bowl, had that big win at Cal. He is with us on BYU Sports Nation right now. Christian, what is the number one thing that you tell or would tell any backup quarterback when they are now charged with taking over a team?
Yeah, this is something that I actually reached out to Tanner and just mentioned briefly. I sent him a text 2 days after after we got the win at Nebraska, I let things settle down, and I just reached out to him and said, hey, this is your team now, no looking back. Well, yeah, you have to respect the fact that it was Taysom's team, and he was a great player, and everything about that, you have to respect that, but no longer can you dwell on it as the quarterback. It's now your team, and you have to do things the way you see fit, not the way that had been done previously or prior to you starting. And I felt like it was that for me. I had to come in and establish the way I do things as a quarterback. It's almost as if CEO is coming in and taking over a new company. He has to kind of change the culture and change it to the way he sees fit. And Tanner's got to do that for the team, and you can see that he's really stepped in and done that pretty nicely.
Taysom Hill, still questions surrounding, what decision he makes as to whether he continues to play football next year here at BYU, grad transfer somewhere else, just transfer to the NFL. What would you like to see him do?
I have mixed feelings on this. I've talked to Taysom about it, and I kind of know what he's thinking, but I know he wants to keep that kind of under wraps for now.
You could just tell us right now if you want to.
Yeah, I'll just, tell Taysom personally. Honestly, I don't want to see Taysom go through another injury like he's had. But at the same time, he's too good of a player, too good of an athlete not to be playing a professional sport. The kid is just unreal, such a good work ethic. I just feel like I want to see him have a shot at the NFL. But at the same time, I feel like Tanner's kind of taken over at BYU, and I would like to see Tanner go forward as our starter for the next 4 years. I want to see Tanner break every BYU record at passing. And so I honestly wouldn't mind, and I think it could be good for Taysom, maybe a change of scenery. Maybe he graduates and goes
to Michigan?
Yeah, Jim Harbaugh reunited.
Yeah, go somewhere, get an MBA paid for, and, yeah, maybe a change of scenery could be nice for Taysom.
Christian Stewart with us on BYU Sports Nation. Let's talk about what's happening in the trenches on this BYU football team right now on the offensive line. What have you seen from the O-line this year for BYU?
Honestly, I've been pretty impressed. I know I was trying to look up prior to this interview what I didn't have enough time to see how many sacks Tanner's had. I don't know if you guys have it on hand. But I feel like there's been quite a few sacks, but a lot of it has been hesitation by Tanner. I've been fairly impressed with the O-line. I think they've done a pretty good job, especially considering teams are bringing pressure to get to a freshman quarterback. That's just the nature of football is when you have a young quarterback, teams are just going to blitz, try and rattle the QB. But I think they've done a good job, and Coach and I have done a good job of altering the play call so that we're capitalizing on those blitzes by a lot of short routes, a lot of hot throws that are enabling Tanner to get the ball out of his hands quickly. One thing I do see they need to do is cut down on the penalties, which is a constant story of BYU. Our O-line has a lot of penalties, and we've got to cut that out.
The number's 9, 5 sacks against Boise State, and then 4 against UCLA, which is which is definitely too high and killed a couple of drives, especially the onside kick drive. There were, I think, 2 sacks on that. But Adam Hine emerged the last 5 quarters as this all of a sudden stud running back. We'll see what he continues to do as he develops. But what have you seen from Adam Hine that gives you hope for the rest of the season?
So I actually haven't seen anything different from Adam Hine. It's just we had so many backs, and with Jamal kind of a breakout from his freshman year, he's gotten the bulk of the carries every year. And so Adam just never really had a chance, and now it's his senior year, and he's getting his opportunity, and he's making the most of it. I mean, we've seen him. BYU fans have seen him on kick return. They see how he hits the holes, he goes full speed, and that's the way he runs the football as a running back, not just as a kick returner. So it's exciting to see someone with his breakout speed, his strength at the running back position. I know he's put on about 10 pounds since last season. I saw him just a few weeks ago when I was in Utah, and he looks really impressive physically, and it's showing on the field. I'm really excited to watch him play the rest of the season.
Christian, a few things as we let you go. Number 1, enjoy Ann Arbor. Number 2, you're absolutely still relevant to BYU Sports Nation. And third, can you come back and throw for BYU's Pro Day?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've already got it on my calendar. Coming back to throw. No, not a chance.
But is spring ball out as well?
No, spring ball, yeah. I'm actually going to request some paid time off, kind of like maternity or something, but for BYU football.
Quarterbackery, I believe is the phrase.
Yeah. Christian, great stuff. Good to talk to you, man.
Hey, thanks for having me on, guys. Appreciate it.